Welcome everyone once again to our regular weekly show on U2 Spain. I'm Skatz, and today I'll be asking my expert advisor Chris from Upsticks who is the best person to help you get your Spanish visa and residency, because you know it's a life-changing move you're making here. It's important to get the right advice, so stick around and we'll find out the answer for you. Plus, of course, we'll be answering your questions on the live chat and in the comments and from social media about this and moving to Spain in general. If you're watching the recording of the show, you can get the time codes for all of the answers you need in the video description below. And I think there's a red bar along the bottom of the screen here as well to save you having to scroll through and find them all over again. So welcome to U2 Spain. Cue that music. Let's dance. There, so just before we begin, you need to know that we have this brand new merchandise page with some really fun new t-shirt and hoodie designs. So you can see the link in the video description below, along with some other helpful links, affiliate links as well, so you can get cheap deals. So once again, we'll be giving away prizes to the best questions and comments from you. So without further ado, let's meet my guest for the day. Once again, it's Chris from Upsticks. Hola, Chris.
How you doing? Good morning.
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing? You sound like you've got a cold.
I have, yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, it's one of them. They come around now, don't they? It was quite weird because I haven't had a cold for about 2 years because we're all wearing masks. so
yeah, that's it. As soon as we take the masks off, all the germs are out. I'm sure everybody in the UK, all their hearts are bleeding for you because they're going through a storm and we've just had loads of sunshine and.
I know. I missed the news yesterday morning. I normally put the news on in the mornings before when the kids are getting ready for school and stuff, just so I see what was going on. I missed it, and I didn't see anything about the storms. And then yesterday, as I just said to you, we were messing about and ended up in the pool. So I sent a photo to my dad, my father, and said, "Look, hey, we're first time in the pool." And he turned around and went, "Yeah, okay." You haven't seen the news here? Did you do that on purpose? I'm like, no.
This was the sunset over Compton last night. So I thought
wow.
This is just rubbing it in, isn't it? Really, sorry, viewers. Yeah,
it's the time of year. I always say, like, because everybody associates Spain with the summer, and even when I was younger, when I was in my 20s here, and it was like 45 degrees, you're like, yeah, this is brilliant. But now, like, as you get older, you realise that Spain really comes into its own in the spring and the autumn, because when other areas are just getting snow, we're sat with 20 degrees. So summer, quite often, you'll see when you get to June time, it'll be the same temperature. You get the odd UK temperature the same as Spain, 30. But Spain really comes into its own in the winter, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I've only been here in the late autumn through the winter, but yeah, it's lovely. We had over 20 degrees yesterday, and
yeah,
marvelous. Steve says, "I thought you can't get cold in Spain." Yeah, you can. You still have germs.
Yeah, yeah, you do. It's not coronavirus. So I did a test this morning just to be socially, responsible, but it's not coronavirus. It's a good old nose cold.
Proper cold, yes.
Yeah.
So we've got a pretty special show here today because lots of people online have expressed how nervous it can get putting your future and your Spanish dream in the hands of somebody you don't know. How do you choose? What do you look for? Now, I'm obviously a bit biased here because I've had Chris on the show every 2 weeks, and I used Upsticks for my move to Spain, and Chris is now, I'm very happy to say, sponsoring U2 Spain. So I'm not going to try and hide that, but we'll try and give you as an objective a guide as we can, along with examples and stories of real people who've recently got their visas and residency. So first of all, let's talk about what you do, Chris. We were talking about your job title recently, and neither of us could pin it down. Is it relocation specialist, immigration advisor? So put it in a nutshell if you can.
In a nutshell, I'd say we're residency specialists. So as you know, in the business, we also have the car registration side of our business, which isn't half, it used to be 50-50, and now it's probably 10% and 90% that we do more immigration, but residency specialists. So I was actually going to ask, because I've been struggling to find a tagline You know, when you need to take, we haven't got like a USP. Like coming up with things like helping people to live the dream. I came up with we're a small part in a big dream, which I thought was quite a good one. So if anybody's got any suggestions on there, it's not too cheesy, but I quite liked we're a small part of the big dream residency specialists. That's what I thought was quite nice.
Well, we've got a few regular listeners who are kind of must have marketed their own businesses. So see if they come up with anything. We've got Barry from Unitech on there. What do you reckon, Barry?
Yeah, give us a tagline, Barry. We're a small part in a big dream. That's what I'd so far, residency specialist. So if you've got something about that's not too cheesy, let me know.
Good stuff. So what's the first thing that you look for in a residency residency specialist? Is it customer reviews? Is it recommendations? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think now the first thing, obviously we're in an online world, aren't we? So it's great. And I think the first thing would be to look at the reviews, just look at their online presence and how people are perceived online, Facebook and Google, always good indicators. Evidently you're going to get, you have to always remember that not everybody's experience is going to be yours, but you should be able to get a global view of what somebody like or what a company's like by looking online. Also look at the website, make sure the website's up to date, and make sure that the stuff on there is good. If they've got a news feed, for example, we've got a news feed, for example. Just you can tell on the history of the news feed if someone's current, if they're active, what they're doing, if they've got a blog. Sometimes one of the most common things that you see with businesses is that when they get into social media, they're literally like flurry of stuff for a month and then they don't see anything for like 4 months or So I think it's good to see consistency in what people do.
That's good. And I've just put your general Google reviews thing up on the screen there. So if you search for Upsticks, you've got 5 stars for everything. It's brilliant.
Yeah. 5 stars. That's cool.
Doesn't sound as good if you blow your own trumpet, but if I blow your trumpet, then it's all right. I can tell people that. I've got a whole list of reviews. I've got about 10 reviews, but I'm not going to put them all up. But they just shine it. Let's just pick one at random. Here we go. Let's pick number 4, Mike Legg. What does this one say? Upsticks are definitely the people to instruct to organise your post-Brexit residency visa. There you go. When service, blah, blah, blah. Good.
Oh, cool.
Very nice.
Mike, yeah, it's great.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah,
and we had Gary Webster. Remember Gary Webster? I think he came to you from here.
Joyce. I'm sure they're watching today, sir.
Yeah, hello, Gary, if you're there. There we go. They came in February 2021. Well, that's when they contacted you. That's about when I contacted you as well, isn't it? Yeah.
They were right at the beginning of the non-luxury visa process over there in Almeria. And we finally got to meet as well. I went over there to do the fingerprint appointment and met Joy and Gary. It's really nice. It's one of the I'm really fortunate in that, although it's stressful at times, I do love what I do. So, it's, and I'm pretty passionate about Spain as well. And, getting seeing people coming over and living here and doing, what I've been doing for 22 years and being a little part of that. That's where the tagline came from. It's very, very rewarding as well. So, I love it. And then you get to meet some people I don't get to meet, unfortunately, because we have got some of our clients would have met Tom, who does our translations here in Malaga. He's a great great lad. I say great lad, but he's like 32. So when you're getting old when you start addressing people, But no, he's a great man. He really is good at his job, and then quite a lot of the appointments out in Almeria, Granada, Cordoba, I'll do myself. So I just jump in the car and go and see people. And last week I met, and I know they'll be listening, so it's all right to say, give me a shout. I met Maureen and Tom, which it's so nice after going through that period of like being with people, online, and then finally getting the visa in their hand and being there. That's a reward for me, that second appointment. Yeah.
That's really nice. So, what are the other things? Maybe people should be looking for someone who gives a free consultation rather than charging you up front. And so, why is that important?
Yeah, I mean, I think now because it's with when I was going to talk a little bit about the structure of residencies and immigration, so and the reason why a free consultation, it works both ways. A free consultation, which is we do our book a call, which initially we had at 15 minutes, believe it or not, because during the withdrawal agreement, that's all you needed to sort of qualify a client, because you're qualifying a client as well. Make sure that they can do what they want to do, and then and then try and engage and make sure they become a client. And we've upped that now to half an hour, because obviously a lot of our calls are non-lucrative visa based, and you can't get through speaking to somebody, you don't get that personal contact with them in 15 minutes. So if someone will, anybody should offer you a free call. I think it's although we're running a business, I think it's sort of an obligation, because the first thing that person's going to do, specialists like we do, is actually qualify people and ask some sometimes quite difficult questions to make sure that they can do what they want to do. One of my biggest questions when we talk about non-lucrative visas is have you got any Irish passports in the drawer? Because I've made the mistake a couple of times thinking that people see we've got all the knowledge here and we understand it, but we forget that people are starting from scratch. So I famously once got to the end of a conversation with somebody talking about non-lucrative visas, all the way to the end of my sales pitch as well, because evidently part of the call, if you've qualified someone, is then to try and sell the service as well. And I always tell people and have a laugh about it and say, right, we're going to our sales pitch now. And I got right to the end of it, and then the lady said to me, but I have got an Irish passport coming. Will that change anything? And I went, I should ask that. That's got to go to the top of my call structure. So, but evidently people don't know. People really don't know. So you're there to qualify and inform them of what's going to happen. And be there to answer questions. And also people are going to shop about. So if you're a specialist, people are going to get a feeling and a vibe for the person they're talking to, and also find out different opinions, because not all people are going to have the same opinion on how you should best prepare your application. Depending on their experience as well. So that's why I think it's important to be able to engage with someone first of all, and so you can form your own opinion of who you'll be contracting to help.
Yeah. And there's the charging up front as well. So you do a different pricing structure, don't you?
Yeah. So there's a lot of, so we give a free half an hour call, and then what we do is we charge half of our fee, and then on approval we charge the second half. So it's a lot of firms charge 100% up front, but you sort of in that respect the ball's 100% in their court then, because they've been paid. So whereas I think that half structures fairer to everybody, really means that you're getting paid, and it gives the clients confidence as well, because we wouldn't do that unless we're confident they're going to get their visa approval or get what they want. So yeah, I think that's a good structure. It seems to work for us as well, so that's good.
Yeah, good. I've got a question here. Why not use a lawyer? Aren't they the most qualified? I've got my own opinion about this. Shall I give my opinion first? You can blast me down. This is an opinion. I have to hasten to add, this is an opinion. Because most lawyers I've been in contact with in the past about anything. Oh dear, have yourself a drink there, Chris. Most lawyers I've been in contact with, they don't give me the impression of being people focused. They're very good at showing qualifications, and they've got an understanding of the law, but I've just never found one that speaks my language and takes the time to get to know me. And I think it's kind of just as important as knowing the rules, because it's about communication and putting the customer at ease at a time when they're putting their future on the line, and that's something that people like yourself are very good at. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think I can add to that. I think it just goes back to what I was saying about the call. Some very good lawyers out there. I don't want to denigrate anybody, but I think it's really you got to make sure that the person that you're working with, you feel comfortable with. You know, and sometimes well, we do have, and you know, hopefully one day, you know, we're going to grow where I'm going to have more advisors doing the visas. We'd love to do that. My biggest dream, which I'd absolutely love for next year, after that, is to have a digital platform where people can sign in and have their whole file there, and then, you know, that's my dream. That's what I want to do. I'm working on that now, you know, but that's for the future. But yeah, I think it's just a case of the feeling. You know, if you don't want to, sometimes there is firms that have the head person and then 20 people working, and they sell you the dream, and then you just end up talking to someone else. So yeah, but I can't really add to what you said. I think you're right.
Good stuff. So another thing you might want is a company. Well, you should have really a company that's got connections to a trusted lawyer, a HESTOR, an insurance broker, maybe an estate agent. A kind of a web of a network. Yeah,
I mean, they come and they're hard fought, you know. With again, you know, touch wood, I'm surrounded. I'm obviously the face of Upsticks, but it's not me. It's the people who are closest to me. You know, you're only as good as the people around you. You know, although it's sort of always been my baby, I'd be nobody without my network and the people who work closest with me as well. You know, I'm blessed with the best support, and people who've already been our clients know that we've got Victoria there in support. I've got, you know, said Tom, who they both work directly with me, and you know, it's amazing to have them. And then our extended network of professionals. You know, it's been hard fought to get there, but we have a process in place with everybody. You know, like our translators, we've got one in the UK, one in Spain, and you've got to be comfortable that you can put your clients in the hands of these people. We don't, you know, we'll be like, right, now you need to do this, now you need to do that, and you know, and they're always very, very good. So yeah, and you know, times in immigration terms, you know, like things move on. So it's the people, it's making sure that you've got the people with the most experience around you. I'm going to give a shout out now to Rochelle DeWitt, who's helping us with WA, the withdrawal agreement people, because to be honest with you, we moved away from withdrawal agreement in January, February last year. And our experience, if you'd have asked me about withdrawal agreement in January last year, I'd have been able to tell you everything about what they're asking for yesterday in Malaga. Oh, this has changed. Now they're asking for this. You know, we've got articles on it on our newsfeed. But we've progressed now with non-lucrative visas, and our focus has been there. And I've lost the experience with what they're asking for 2 years down the line. So, you know, if you need someone in your network, if someone asks you, who you can trust to pass that person on, you know, so like she's doing that for us at the moment. And sometimes, you know, there'll be clients there that she's already saved. So, you know, we've got insurance. It's very handy. It's very handy. You know, you've got to be able to have a decent network around you, and again, and we have, there is in the industry of specialists, lawyers have quite closed. I don't really want to get into slagging off lawyers, to be honest with you, but they're quite closed, and so they battle against each other. Whereas in the sort of specialist industry that we're in, I have a very good relationship with people who are in the same industry. We're not fighting for clients, and quite often we will share information, you know, and I've got no problem that people will come to me, bounce stuff off of me, I'll go to them, and I think that's important as well. Really do.
And I've got Rochelle on the show next week, so giving updates on withdrawal agreement, and hopefully by next week we're getting towards the end of February, so we might have driving license news. We hope, fingers crossed.
Well, they came on, didn't they, the other day, the government, and said that they've asked for another extension.
Did they? Okay then.
I'd love to know what the problem is.
There's got to be. It's never been a problem in Spain before, has it?
There's got to be one thing, hasn't there, with the driving licenses that's stopping all this, because they're like, you know, they I did see on the bits in Spain that they've requested another extension to it, but I'm sure Rochelle will go into that next week. Yeah, it's I'd love to be the fly on the wall around that table, I tell you.
There we go. Oh, Barry's come up with a few. He said your one-stop tienda. was his first suggestion.
That's just one stop to the end. Yeah, I like that. Bit of Spanglish.
Bit of Spanglish, yeah. And this one, he's mixed up our two names as well. You two can Upsticks and make the dream move to Spain. Thanks, Barry. It's just completely connected there.
Yeah.
Who else did? Oh yes, somebody else put it. Turning dreams into reality, says Shamil. But he also says, no, that's too cheesy. So
yeah. I'll cheers, Shamil.
It's like putting the word journey in there. That would be just too much.
Yeah. Shamil will be able to tell you because we're going through his now at the moment. He's got his appointment very soon. Yeah.
Brilliant. So hello, Shamil. Oh, and hello, Superb Traveller, and also Wendy. Wendy's back. She missed the show last week. She tuned in at 10 o'clock instead of 9 because she's in the UK. I keep putting 10 o'clock on the Facebook channel, and that's confusing people. I'll have to put both. There we go. Yeah. So, one question. There are some companies that do the whole of Spain. Some companies that just work locally. Do you need somebody local?
Yeah, I mean, so it depends on what sort of residency you're doing. For the non-lucrative visas, we work both remotely and locally. So, in terms of the actual application, I think that there's somebody to help you get a visa. Most of the time, that's done remotely anyway. So, and I would say that although, I mean, I think there's a few companies in the UK that actually do it as well. I think it's better to have a company on the ground in Spain who understand, the nuances, the paperwork, etc. And you can do that all remotely. Most of it's done that way. Now, locally would be if you physically have to attend an appointment. Everything like what we did for you in Vélez for the fingerprint, what they call Toma de Huella appointments. And in that sense, we work both ways. We work, I haven't got a pack here now. I sent them all out yesterday. So we have local. So if somebody's in Andalusia, we'll go. If anybody wants to go to Sevilla, I'd really like to go to Sevilla. So please go to, because I do the ones which are about, and I haven't done Sevilla yet. So that'd be nice. And if they're in a different part, so we do Andalusia and Lanzarote because we've got a representative over there in Lanzarote. Hey, there they are. Look, do you know how many hits that photo got? There, that's incredible. I think I'll have a look on Google, but it came up. You get your Google updates, and someone said you've got like 20,000 hits or something. So I put it on Google Maps as well.
Fantastic. Is that Gary and Joyce?
Yeah, it's Gary and Joyce. Yeah.
They're
so happy that day. It was a great day. And so you get, so that's it. Or if people are out, like we do quite a lot in Alicante, and I mean Torrevieja and Alicante, they're great with and Murcia as well, are really good with the fingerprint appointment. They understand it. As I said at the beginning of the process, this time last year, well, even later, about April, May time, we started bringing the visas over here. They were telling us, "Oh, you got the wrong appointment. You've got the wrong appointment." This was in Malaga. They were like, "I've got no. It's not Brexit anymore. It's visas." And now, obviously, they see them and they're straight through. And so, in that respect, what we do is we send out I haven't got one here. I should have one. I sent them all out yesterday. Friday's our post day. Packs, which basically explain exactly what you need to do. All the taxes are in there prepaid, and you literally get the folder. Take it with your passport and your photos and get it done there. It's fine. That's always worked as well. So
perfect. I think I've got a picture of. Here we go. This is a picture of the sort of. This is one you did of all the documents. Is that the pack?
Yeah. So that's the. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm gonna move you. That's the pack that we send out with all the application forms and the advice, etc. That's actually an old one. We've improved that now because we have an information sheet that we send where to sign and stuff. So, which eventually will be part of the digital platform. Yeah, but so we've got that, and then when we do the TIE cards remotely, or if we're even locally, we have these. So these are our TIE cards. So we send out all the information on there, and then you've got a nice folder to keep all your stuff in, and obviously keep your resguardo safe for when you go and pick up your card. And so yeah, and that works really well. So yeah, I mean, having somebody locally for EU residencies, sometimes it's best to have somebody locally. The reason being is because there's lots of nuances, depending on where you go. So you can advise somebody on the structure of residency, which we always talk about, which is in financial stability, healthcare, and where you live. Right, that's always like the three basics of residency, and everything else is encompassed by that. And in EU residency, really can depend. I mean, here in Malaga, they've generalised it slightly. They used to be completely different in Estepona to Malaga, what they'd ask you for. So yeah, in that respect, you might need to be local, but certainly for non-lucrative visas, you can do it all remotely. So,
great stuff. Well done, Barry. You come with Barry's third slogan for you: driving your dream move. That fits the cars and moving in.
Driving your dream. I'm writing these. Can I have these on the comments? Because I'm going to be. We might do a slogan a week.
Yeah, I'll put them all in the I'll put them all in the video description for you. I'll be going through that later on. Yeah. Thank you, Barry. Barry's using his brain today. Oh, and Jim says, good morning, Skatz and Chris. He's tuned in late this morning, but I'll catch up later. There we go.
Hey, Jim.
And I talked earlier about speaking my language. This was really important to me, I think. It's one of the first reasons that I phoned you up, I think, was because I don't just mean speaking English. Obviously, it helps. You need to be able to speak pretty good English just to understand. But it's all about using the expressions that I understand, and it was the name of the company that nice. Attracted me, because it's a bit of slang. Because what that tells you, it's not only what you do, but that the person you're going to be talking to talks like a bloke off the street, and that's what I wanted, and I think that's what a lot of other people want as well. So I thought I'd mention that.
Yeah, it's funny because that is something that you're constantly battling with when you're like doing the job that we do. There's so many sort of direct translations from Spanish to English that even people who live here would understand, but if you don't, then you wouldn't. So you got to find, like, for example, trying to think of an example now. We always talk about it. We're like, how would you say that in layman's terms in English? Let's not put it into like a matriculation. Right, so if you say like matriculation of a vehicle, they call it matriculación over here. And for years, I would always refer to it as matriculation, and people look at you going, "Oh, is it a school registration or something?" It's just there's a certain way of explaining things simply in your own language. Although it's not a direct translation, that works a lot better.
Brilliant. So let's move on to what else does your ideal residency specialist need to be like? So the best qualification is knowing the job, isn't it? Having knowledge and experience. You don't need a necessary qualification, but it's experience of the front line when you meet the police and the notaries, the officials in the embassies, the town halls. That's what you need most, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I was good. That's what I had my notes here. Was just talking about like the breakdown of what it is. What immigration is, because that starts. If we're talking again, I'm talking generally quite a lot about the visas, because that's the newest and at the moment most popular way people are getting into Spain to retire. But obviously this applies to EU residencies as well. But so we always start with what is the general immigration law, the EU law, and what it asks you for. But obviously it's very flimsy in terms of you must just prove that you can support yourself economically. Obviously then there's official then guidance on that, depending on where you look. So if you're looking at various consulates, they'll have more or less information surrounding how and what documents you need to present to cover all the bases in the law, to qualify, basically. So, and then obviously you need someone to help you which has experience in that field, because the interpretation of what they've published could be different as well. So, and that's where the experience and how much you do comes into play. That's why I went to London last year to find out exactly what on earth they were talking about on some of the fronts. I'll be going to Manchester soon as well to do the same. And it's just that on the ground experience. And because things change, their interpretation changes. Definitely, I mean, I've always got that classic story of when a few years ago now, back when Brits were getting EU residencies, I took a lovely couple, retired couple, to Malaga, and their documentation was exactly the same. I mean, it was literally the S1s were produced at the same time. I think their dates of birth were similar, and it was exactly the same apart from the names. They'd been married for over 40 years. And we sat them on tables, one next to each other, like this. And one of them went, "There you go, there's your card." The other one went, "Oh no, we can't do this." I mean, you can hear the guy next to you. This is days before screens. And anyway, it was just a small thing that they turned around. They wanted a conversion into euros of the pension, and we actually did it. I did it there and then with my mobile. Went out, printed something. When will that do? If he signs it as a declaration, he went, "Oh yeah, that'll do it." So but yeah, so it depends. And I'll just say, like, even this week. So, for example, with the NLVs this week, we had some new things crop up regarding the financial stability.
Mm-hmm.
And
what were they?
So one client we had where there was certain movements in an account, they're basically 100% qualifies for an NLV, now got the NLV, and but they wanted to know where money, the origins of funds, even though it had already been proved where they were. We basically had to put together a very quick letter in Spanish that said, if you look at A, goes to B, goes to C, there's the dates, there's the timeline, and attached is a proof. And it was done by email, and the very next day he got his approval. So, that was good. The other one was, we had a client who had to do a notarized declaration that they would take care of a spouse. That's the first time, we sort of, I've seen that here, but the first time I saw that for an NLV coming out of London, that was organised, translated, and done. They gave us, I think it was 10 days to do that, but we got it done. They did. They had to obviously manage it from the UK, and we were there to support that with the translations and stuff. What else did we have as well? Yes, and going back to the old famous looming bank statements and stamping.
Oh yes. Actually, I had one. I had somebody asking that. I have to answer this question. I've not got it on my screen. I think it was Walid, and I promised him he's actually booked a call through you for the end of March.
Cool.
But he kind of just wanted to know this in advance. Is it all right to use business account statements? Because he's been told, no, you can't do that. You have to have personal account statements.
No, if it's a business, if it's a limited company, then if you're self-employed, and it's account in your name, then that's obviously fine if it relates to you. But if it's a limited company, then no, you can't do that. So it's a separate entity in its own right. So.
Okay. So what could, if he is a limited company, could he transfer a load of funds into a personal account?
Yeah, obviously taking the correct advice, what it needs to, because I'm not too sure the legalities of just stripping your company and putting it all in a personal account. But obviously, if he did do that, and it was depending on the timescale, and it was reflected, which goes back to the stamp statements. When it reflects in the statements, you might have to prove where it came from, which isn't a problem. But you might have to present proof that you were the owner of the company or director or had the right to take that money, then the origin, where it came from, what date it came from, when it was transferred, and where it landed. Now, it's as simple as that. There's not, immigration aren't there, and I keep saying it to trip you up, but they are there to ask questions and just qualify. We had another one not so long ago. Excuse me. Sorry, excuse me 1 second. Licking my kids' water bottles now. Is it? Initially, he phoned me up. I met him actually. Mike, met him last week. It was great. We did his TDH in Torremolinos, and he phoned me up, and he had enough money, enough income, but in pounds, not in euros. If that makes sense. So the conversion was covered the basis, and they just didn't like it. They were like, "No, you haven't got enough. I can't see this." Blah blah blah. So anyway, he was there when he phoned me up, and I said, "Right, okay, no worries." So we jumped on it, had a look, and literally just wrote a conversion email and went, "If you look at A, B, and C over the year, it converts to this using xe.com." and then that equals that plus EPRIM, by far qualifies, and they accepted it. They literally went, "Oh right, okay, brilliant." And it wasn't, it was an official document. It was just what we call an escrito. So it's just an explanation. and that was fine. So all these nuances come up, and you learn all the time. But that helps us to understand when we are speaking to people and doing their initial assessment what they're going to need and preempt any problems.
That's good to know. So when Wendy's put a few questions up here. Well, it's a report of what's happening. Remember Wendy and Lee? They've had prizes from us. She went for an NLV appointment 14th of February, Valentine's Day. There was the wrong info on the medical certificate. They rejected it. Spanish doctor had missed the information needed. So consulate told me to redo and send on. They will wait this before processing the NLV. So contacted the doctor in Spain. He redid it, and they're waiting. So she's awaiting the Spanish post, Correos Rapid. So more worry. That's the usual worries, isn't it? And this was at Manchester. They really scrutinised the paperwork, and we have paid a specialist firm to help us with the NLV process. They said these things can happen. They can.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen certificates. I don't know. There are certain red flags on things that you check. So, we have a red flag check on certificates, whatever, to make sure that everything's there. If they see something they don't like on it, it might be that it didn't say there was a correct stamp or something. You would check through and make sure that everything looks fine and it's got the correct wording on it. The good thing is now is that the consulates all three consulates are allowing people to either send stuff. So London is allowing you to physically send stuff and direct it to the visa department with a file number on it, and the Manchester and Edinburgh consulates, they're allowing you to email stuff across. So we had a really strange one this week as well, where they had a client go through Manchester and then they got an email from London asking for more stamped statements. They wanted 12 months instead of 6, and it was like, well, how come London are emailing? And they asked for it physically, so we just got around that by emailing Manchester, who accept them by email, saying, look, London have asked for this, but we're going to send it to you as well, because that's where we made the application, and we've sent the physical files to London. So then we've got 2 bits of proof. We've got an email gone to Manchester, which they replied to, thank you very much, and said we'll add it to the file. And then we have the proof, obviously, that it's been posted to London, registered post, and they've received it. So all these little things that go on during the process.
Yeah, and this is what you need. You need somebody like yourself who knows all of these, what's happening, the latest things that are going on in those offices.
Yeah, just keeping up to date, and then obviously having a structure, a timeline structure in place as well. We always try and put, depending on the time of year, obviously that you have to have, there's red months which can be more complicated. Christmas time, you've got certain holidays like Easter. And because ultimately we depend on immigration this end, not really the consulates in the UK. They do the processing, but obviously then the processing in the UK can be affected with things like the students. Like last year, London was just collapsed. To be fair, they put in their appointment booking system now, which is amazing. It's great. It's working really well, and let's hope that continues. But we don't know really how the students are going to affect summer. So we look at August, write it off, and try and build a structure around that. But also a structure which allows people to a bit of flexibility. So like we start our time-dependent documents 6 weeks before the appointment, which means that if suddenly someone phones me up and says, Chris, I've got a stake or someone's stick or something, those documents will be in date, but we can shift the whole appointment structure back. Yeah, so stuff like that you need to make sure.
Timing is really vital, isn't it? But flexibility as well.
Yeah, if anybody's trying to run your documents to the end, I will say that if you're working with somebody, they're going, I want an appointment in 3 months, right? Get your acro now. Then that's wrong, because you need to have that bit of flexibility at the end.
No, yeah. So Wendy asks, Chris, at the end of the appointment, they took the paperwork, stamped the visa form, and said they will be in touch, awaiting new medicals. Does that mean it's being processed and likely to go through?
Did they make you pay, Wendy? Did you pay?
There we go then. Answer that one, Wendy, and we'll find out.
Normally, if you take payment, then they're just waiting for extra documents, and you'll find that'll be fine.
Good stuff. And Superb Traveller says, can you show us how to fill up Modelo 790 and EX01? We showed that on a different show, but not actually how to fill it in. Maybe we could do a show about that.
Yeah, we can do a show about the film, the Modelos. Yeah.
Wendy says,
Again,
pay, yes.
yeah, you'll be all right, Wendy. You'll be all right. Get that new certificate as quick as you can over to them.
Good stuff.
If they make you pay, it's because they expect it to go through, even if they're missing something. So.
Good. Oh, we have a possible new customer for you. Hey, Mitchell. Hi, Skatz and Chris. He's in France. Chris, do you cover the Huelva region, planning to move over in 2023?
Yes, we can cover there. Yeah, drop us a call, or drop us an email to support@upsticks.es, or book a call on the website, and we can have a chat.
Good.
It'd be great.
So, what else do you need then? What else do you need in a residency specialist? Somebody who speaks Spanish for a start. Does that go without saying?
Yes, obviously you need. So going back to the application forms, obviously someone who's going to do your forms for you. That's always good. We're slightly old school where we send all of our stuff out printed in that nice pack that you saw. I know I've seen a few people who have just been sent PDFs. And we've had to send PDFs in the past when we've sent the forms on. There's something that's needed to be adjusted, so we just will send a PDF. But I think it's always good to have the physical pack there. Someone obviously who speaks Spanish, and especially, if you're doing physical appointments here in immigration, you do need somebody who's got a good rapport with the police, and also you've got to know when to it's called qualifying objections. I always go on about it at work. And you've got to be able to qualify an objection if there is any from the police. And if you can do, from the immigration officer, of course, it's police station. But if you can qualify an objection when you're there, most of the time you'll get around it. So it's just put the ball in their court. So if they say, well, this isn't, a lot of the times people come away with not achieving what they want to achieve and don't know why. And that's the worst case scenario. You've got to know why. If someone says no, what you need to take with you. But evidently Spanish is good, and I've always got the people who've done appointments with me will know. I've got an ethos of hand the power to them. Really, they're there to make the decision. It's been cringeworthy at times when I have seen other professionals next to me shouting at police saying you should do this because, and maybe they're right, but they just go like that. The shutter comes down. You've got to work with people.
Yeah. It's all about this speaking plainly and communicating well with all parties, isn't it? And you want somebody who's chilled out about it. Yeah. Because you've told me in the past you got some of your clients are running around expecting things to be done really quickly, and you just say to them, just go to the cafe, have a coffee, relax.
It's a massive decision, isn't it? Moving to Spain, and sometimes, and obviously you're very nervy. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes you'll see us here in the office, see me running around like a lunatic. But you've got to try and also enjoy the experience a bit. I always advise everybody: look, keep a diary, keep a book, keep all your paperwork. And you look back at it in 10 years' time and think, wow. Yeah, it's not relevant now, but just enjoy the journey as well.
Yeah, and you might need that paperwork in 10 years' time.
Well, yeah, there's that. Yeah, there's obviously that. I mean, you will need to obviously keep on top of your paperwork. But keep your appointment sheets. Look back on them and see. I've got a whole folder here actually under the desk of our family stuff, which when we moved house, I pulled out, and the stuff there that I've kept is quite. It's quite nostalgic, and I think that people, when they're going through this journey, should keep it as well.
There was a question on the Facebook group yesterday that had a lot of answers. Was somebody saying, once I've gone through my visa appointment, do I just shred all the paperwork? And everybody went, no, absolutely not. Keep it, copy it, put it in a safe, put it in a lead-lined box. One day you'll need it. You're going to need a lot of it in 5 years' time when you're going for permanent residency. You might apply for citizenship in 10. You'll definitely need proof that you've been here and living.
And we live in a digital age, don't we? So it's not hard to digitalize stuff if you don't. If there's stuff which isn't originals but you feel you should keep and stuff like that, then digitalize it, put it on a PDF, label it well, and you'll keep it in your files. You'll find that if you've used professionals along the way, like translators, only Thursday we had family who'd lost their residency cards. So it was a lost switch. They had the original residency cards, had lost them, but they now need to switch for TIE. So it's a little bit of a change in the process. It's easily done, but it's easily done if you employ somebody like us. But we needed some translations, which they weren't on file. So I got hold of our translator who did them a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, when we did the initial EU residency, and of course she's got them on file. Brilliant, we trust them. She sent me over original translations, reprinted them, stamped them, and we had them for the appointment yesterday, and they went through fine. So it's having that network as well, making sure you can find the right things.
Perfect. We've got Alan Lackenby. Hello, Alan. You're back again. He says, hopefully going for a first-year application for an LVD share when renewing my UK passport. Oh, my UK passport will expire in 3 years' time. Do I need to renew my UK passport for another 10 years back in the UK? If
he's going, you need a minimum of a year on your passport when you go for your first visa.
Yeah, and when it comes to a year to go, you should renew it when you're in Spain, definitely, because you do need a passport.
Yeah, you need the passport has to cover the term of what you're applying for.
Yeah,
basically.
So, and back to A. Mitchell saying, "Oh yes, he's going to be in touch. They have French residencies. Oh, we are both British, but he has an Irish passport. Hooray! And the wife's awaiting an Italian passport via grandfather." Any advice on our hybrid situation? Merci, he says. It's Anthony.
Yes, so they're both EU. They'll both have EU passports, won't they? So that's a physical appointment, very similar to what we did to you. And then, depending on their residency structure, financials, healthcare, and where they live, is what we do with the paperwork.
Yeah,
they should get their residency in a piece of cake. Should be in a day. You should get the residency in a day. That gives us plenty of time for coffee in Welver.
Yeah, fantastic. And another question here. Oh, it's Jay Moody. That's Ghazi again. Oh, what if I had an online business and I want to move to Spain and open my company? What are the procedures? I don't think you've got a UK passport, have you? Just tell us there, Ghazi. So if you haven't got a UK passport, if you haven't got an EU passport, what do you do?
Let's hope that the digital nomad comes online soon.
Yeah,
that's what we want. Wait for the digital nomad visa to come. That's what you do if you've got a non-EU passport. If you've got an EU passport, then to be honest, it really depends on the structure you'd need. If you've got an EU passport, you definitely would need, depending on the structure of your business, and you're working online, to speak to an accountant here to find out how you would go about registering yourself here, whether you need to register yourself here, and then depending on that, depends on what paper you need for your residency.
There you go. He really lives in Kuwait, so no EU passport there.
Right, so there might be it's a tough one, because at the moment, obviously, it depends on how much investment you're going to be putting into Spain, but it sounds like a wait for the digital nomad visa to come out and then reassess then.
Yeah, because doing it as self-employed, there's all kinds of tax implications going on there. So yeah, and I haven't heard of any examples of people coming through on the self-employed visa yet. I asked online, I've asked on the Facebook group, and nobody's reporting that they've got through on one. So if anybody knows.
Yeah, it's we'd like to. I know you had a program, didn't you, with a teacher who did it,
with Carolyn, yeah.
And you just can't get the specific information that you need or the experience like we get with the non-lucrative visas at the moment. And and it also the self-employed visa, you have to make a significant investment before you even get your approval, which a lot of people aren't obviously willing to do.
So we've got. Do you need to go at 11? We're coming up.
I could do with going at 11. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm
That's okay.
Shoot off and spread my germs. It's not COVID, so we're all good. But yeah. So, I mean, I think I just wanted to, I've said before, but I'm so lucky to do. It's a bit stressful. I'm lucky to do a job that I love, and I love living in Spain. I love Spain, and bringing people over, and it's just amazing. It's like the positivity of post Brexit. We've been through the mill quite a bit with the different decisions during Brexit, and everybody works in the industry has as well. And now just seeing like the U2 Spain channel. Now I've got my channel, and I think it's just the positivity now of people who are coming over. Obviously, there's a lot of people who can't because of the financial restraints, but it's great to see. It's great to see, that people are still cracking on, getting on with it, and changing their plans accordingly, and living it.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the final thing I was going to say is that the last thing you want, not the last thing you want, but one important thing that you want in a residency specialist is somebody who gives out information freely and has video guides and info sheets and everything about the visa process, everything to do with moving to Spain. And we've said this before, haven't we? Some people have asked you, why on earth do you give out all this information? Because that means that people aren't going to use your service. They'll just do it themselves. But that's not the case, is it?
No, it's going. It's we have every level of clients, from people who are really well organised and just need somebody to cross the T's and dot the I's. People who thought they were well organised and completely not organised, and I'm going, no, we need to scrap all that, start again. We've got people who are literally never heard of any of the paperwork, which is starting from scratch. So we have all levels of people that we're helping get their residency, and it's great. As you say, for the free information, we've got our news feed and obviously the YouTube, and I come on here and stuff, and a lot of the stuff that we publish comes from things which happen on a daily basis on the ground, questions we have from clients. I literally just this morning was just updating my pre-appointment email with the notes and feedback I've got this week. So I'm always like, give me feedback. I want to know everything. And then when anything comes up, a question, we have a board where we write it on. I'll probably show you here. There at the back there.
Uh-huh.
That's the content board. So on there, and that all is feedback from clients or questions that gets asked and stuff. And we're like, right, how can we first make it easy for people to find this information, because we share it with the clients, get it out there, and that's a constant, that's organic. So if anybody retains information from you and tries to sell it, there's certain things that you're not going to tell people until they engage, but we have a big ethos of like, well, if you can't find it on our website, you can't do it yourself, then it is time to obviously employ somebody, employ us to do it, help you. But we have tons of information out there.
Mm-hmm. I've got a question from Ant. Ant says we'll be visiting Huelva in September for a month this year. We'll be in touch. How about a coffee in Huelva? You two Skatz, if you fancy a run out. Yeah, put it in the diary.
Are you driving? If you're driving, then you come through May.
Yeah,
we'll sort it out.
Huelva is Cadiz direction, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Lovely part of the world, going down to Portugal.
Yeah, not been down there before. I've got to start doing some moving around. I've just been sitting in this lovely pueblo behind me there, and really enjoying it. But I need to get out and about. Really enjoy Spain.
I should be employed by the Andalusia Tourist Board, I tell you, because I'm forever trying to flog Andalusia. I always say it's terrible, really, because obviously I love it. I love it here. I think we have everything, from ocean to Mediterranean to sea to snow, and traveling around Andalusia, you can experience so many different landscapes, gastronomy, and food. It's mind-boggling. And so I'm constantly. I had a guy I was talking to a couple of weeks ago, lovely guy, South African origin, and now lives in the UK, coming over in an LV, and he was going to go to Mallorca. And I've got nothing against Mallorca, but I completely unsold Mallorca. It's an island. You're going to get bored. So I said, you need to come to Andalusia, so you can place yourself anywhere. You can find anything. So So yeah, but then I am biased in that respect. I think it's amazing.
Absolutely. Oh, we got Barry on here again. Is it easy enough to open a company in Spain like mine? We installed comms networks and have in the past worked in Spain and Gibraltar for UK companies. Well,
I don't know. You need an accountant for that one.
Yeah. He says New Life in the Sun program sees people opening hotels, B&Bs, cafes and glamping sites, and it looks straightforward. It looks straightforward, yeah.
Channel 4 make it, it's easy to go to New Life in the Sun. They make it look, I mean, again, it depends who you've got by your side doing that. You know, you should have a good accountant and stuff. Make sure the accountant's doing exactly what we're doing, keeping on the ball with the updates, you know, surrounding what you need to do, opening a company. You definitely need a decent gestor for that if you are going to open a company.
Yeah, and you need Antonio, that's what you need.
Yeah, get Antonio on the case, get him on the case, find out, because again, there's local nuances as well with stuff you can ask for. You can quite definitely would advise that at the time, if you are going to open a business or go self-employed, you speak to CADI, the Andalusia, see if there's any grants are available. You know, so. But yeah, it's New Life in the Sun are doing a good job of selling Andalusia as well. They're selling Almeria well. I keep getting told, so that's good. Keep it up.
Good stuff. Steve Knoll says, do you cover the Matharon area?
Remotely, that's Murcia, isn't it? Yeah, remotely though. We are actually looking for a representative up there to do our translations and meet people. We generally use in Murcia, the main police station. In fact, a load of files went up there yesterday. And because the main police station is very good and they're just whipping people in and out, and they're used to now the visas. But yeah, we are looking. So if anybody knows anybody who does translations in Murcia, then we're looking to get a physical person on the ground for the main police station in Murcia, who will meet our clients and be there to hold their hand. So we've got Lanzarote, hopefully Tenerife soon, whole of Andalusia, and we would like to that. If not, we do it remotely.
Great stuff. Oh, Steve, I've got to put Steve's comment up. I can't answer this one today, but he wants me to describe my experience so far as self-employed Spain, like should be monthly payments, for example, and anything else being different than in the UK. Well, I can tell you the difference between here and Ireland, but not on today's show. But we're going to have a program about tax and things between the UK and Spain in the coming months. So, and perhaps I'll do a midweek video about my experience in the meantime. So thanks for that question.
Yeah.
And there we go. So we're coming up to the hour, and this is normally where my microphone goes really, really crackly. So I hope that's not going to happen. And I think we should just do a conclusion. My conclusion is, what you need is Chris from Upsticks. There we go. That's my conclusion in a nutshell. And tell him that I sent you.
And thanks for everybody for watching and continue to watch. I always get some real positive feedback, you know, from people talking about the channel and what we're doing. So, you know, just keep it positive, and it's really good. Well done. That's
good. Yes. And one day Chris is going to have a box that you can tick to say you were sent by U2 Spain.
Yeah. If you book a call, it's already on there. If you book a call, it's already on there. Yeah. If you book a call with us on through the website, you can click where did you hear about us? And if you come from here, please make sure that we know it's U2 Spain.
Good stuff.
So,
and you've got a little bit of a waiting list for free callbacks, but you can answer questions on this show, of course, in the meantime while you're waiting for your free callback.
Yeah, and we've got fortunately for us, we've got a bit of a waiting list there because we like to speak to people. But you know, we're working constantly on improving what we do. So you know, with the EU residencies, the NIAs and stuff, we've got a set structure there for the services that we offer, and with the non-lucrative visas, which is by far the most popular at the moment, we doing a lot of development work on just making sure that we've got the digital assets for people to make it quicker and smoother every time. I mean, the preparation time has come down. We had, we're coming up to the hour, so I'll jump off. We had a lovely lady who I worked with last month, Barbara, who I think might look at the show as well. And she managed to get her paperwork turned around in just 2 weeks. Paying everything quickly, getting it done, and it can be done. She was like, you know, do you want to hit this hard? And she was like, yeah. Then I was like, let's do this. And she literally, so it's just amazing you can do that now, and we're constantly trying to improve and make sure we've got the structure in place to do so.
Right. Oh, excellent. So we'd choose a prize winner at this point.
Yes. Can
you remember anyone who's been on?
Let me have a look. I can't see.
Maybe Shamil.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, Shamil. I'll be giving Shamil. It's probably in person.
All right.
So I've got Shamil's address. Don't worry about that.
Well, there we go. He said, yes, I went to Chris from U2 Spain too. Chris isn't from U2 Spain. He's from Upsticks, but there we go. I don't mind.
Choose. Send me them through. Drop me an email with the prize winners. I think we've got a few comments on there, so we can give away a few. We're not shy. We're giving away prizes.
Yeah, brilliant.
Definitely
there we go. So will everybody wave goodbye to Chris now? He's got to head off, and stick around though, because I've got one or two things to say about who's on next week and that kind of thing. So brilliant. Get that cough sorted out.
I will do.
We'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
All right. See you later. Cheers, bye.
All right. Bye for now. There we go. So let's just look at this. A few more comments coming in on the chat. Ant says, if you come in a big car, you can bring Antonio too. Ciao for now. Thank you. That's going to be a bit of a roundabout route. I have to come all the way around from here, all the way around to there, and then all the way around to way up in the Granada province to pick up Antonio. But I don't know. It'd be a bit of a road trip. That might be quite nice. And John G. Hello, John. We're looking to move to Spain. We meet all the NLV. However, I, John, work on contract around the world, not Spain. I need to travel more than 2 months in a year. I work totally flexible times. Well, that's very, very interesting. That's but if you're going to be on the non-lucrative visa, you're not supposed to be working anywhere. So be aware of that. Okay. And let's see. So before I tell you what's going on next, I'll tell you what's going on next week. I told you earlier, it's Rochelle DeWitt from the Facebook group Ask Rochelle Andalusia. This is Rochelle's third time on the show. She gives us the latest updates on things like swapping your driving licenses, the withdrawal agreement, TIEs, residency, and whatever else has been happening recently that you need to know if you're either coming over or you're here already. So join us next week at the regular time of 9 o'clock if you're in the UK or Ireland, 10 o'clock if you're in Spain. Don't forget to check out the U2 Yoga YouTube channel. You can have free yoga and meditation classes on there, and they're really good. And especially for people who haven't done yoga or meditation before. Liz treats you really gently there. That's my wife Liz's channel. She also does U2 aromatherapy, and there's some great stuff on there too. And of course, get your t-shirts. We've got these brand new designs on the new merchandise page. There's a new link below. And so that is all for this week. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Ghazi. Thank you, Shamil. Thank you, John. Thank you. And thank you, Steve Knowles and Steve Papp. And Barry. Yes, thank you all for joining in. And peace and love. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye for now. Let's have that music. And don't forget to do the little dance.